Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MJ Games. I am Michael, and today I'm really excited because I have Dan from Dan's Theme Park joining me, as he is a great PC gamer, and I'm so excited to have you on, as you are the first PC gamer that I'm having to join me for a console spotlight. So, how are you doing today, Dan?
Hello, I'm not bad. Really excited to see this. Don't have a console, so I've never really had the chance to properly look at a console park.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I mean, we are definitely at some disadvantages, but I do think that the level of quality of parks that have been released recently has definitely improved. And I have filmed this ahead of time, so I'm gonna try my best I can to kind of keep conversations on where we're at. But just so everybody knows, having to record this over Discord. As you can see, what do you think, Dan, about this little parking lot area? I know it's not massive, but I kind of like the different kind of color instead of just the traditional tarmac.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I also like the advertising boards kind of showing the different areas and rides in the park.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a really cool selling point. This park is called Universal Land, and it's created by Anakin83. This has actually been created over a period of probably 6 or so months, because I believe this is a PS5 upgrade now. So as this creator got a PS5, he's kind of added on to it. And there are some blueprints throughout the park that I have seen on the workshop, but they're really integrated well. And as you can see there, just that advertising, really well done. And so, Dan, how long have you been playing Planet Coaster since the game came out?
I started in about December of 2018, so a couple of years after it came out.
Okay. Yeah, and make sure to go check out his channel. The link's in the description below. So, does a really good job. You just created a mini park that was on Channel 5 Gaming that, you did a great job on. That RMC was incredible. And yes, as we just walked through the entrance, what are your first thoughts as you kind of enter the park?
Like, immediately, I see people who build just kind of using the grids, and here I'm seeing diagonal buildings. The entrance was all sorts of weird angles and stuff, and I think that's just elevates building, really, because it's not all the same block style buildings.
Did you ever by any chance see, I think it's Shift C, I think is how you pronounce his name, that Adventure World Park that he created on PC? Did you ever watch any of that or kind of take a look at it?
I do know of him. I think he's in Channel 5 Gaming, and I've seen some of the stuff that he's done. It's just so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's why, like, some of these buildings here kind of remind me of some that he built in that park. So it looks like the creator probably used that as a reference, maybe just a little bit. But we're gonna go to the right here, and I agree with you. It's Planet Coaster. It's really great to build on like squares and rectangles, but it's really tough to build off that grid. And as you said, just kind of being able to do that really adds creativity to the builds and that extra level of detail. So this first area is kind of a haunted area of the park, and I saw there I was about to go into the graveyard and realized I need to turn it to nighttime. So we switched to nighttime here. And yeah, so there's 5 main areas in this park, and a coaster really in each area. And you really built with this theme much? Like, used a lot of the haunted house stuff?
I know for a PC collab park, I was using the haunted house route, especially to create like a giant French themed castle. That's really the only time I've really gone in to use the spooky pieces, apart from some queue fencing, really.
Yeah. Yeah, this pack really does have some great individual pieces. I haven't really built anything to this level, but I think this did a really good job. So is anything kind of standing out to you in this area?
Absolutely love like the detail with all the root pieces. I think it's just one piece, but it's one of the more detailed ones in the game.
Yeah, I agree. As I said, filming this ahead of time, trying to kind of gauge where we'd be talking about stuff, but this queue is awesome. And that's one thing you're going to see throughout this park. Like, look at this room. I wish now, looking back, I would have spent a little bit of time focusing on that room. Just the level of detail is really impressive, too.
Yeah, interiors is not really one of the things I'm good at in the game. So when I see someone who's done a really nice interior, I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. I need to steal like all the ideas from there.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel like it's the most tedious to do, right? And I mean, just kind of watching this ride, just the detail's great. Each room is so different. I mean, the lighting's done really well. I haven't really worked with triggers too much, but then you kind of come outside into this little graveyard. I just think it's really well done.
Yeah, I'm loving like the foliage work around here, and also all the mist effects really add. I mean, that red light been placed in the perfect position.
Oh, agreed. The car just turned at the perfect time to kind of visually see that. And yeah, the foliage works done really nice. A lot of different bushes being used, and it kind of blocks off the other areas and sections of the park. So this is a really well done, in my opinion. Did you like that ride?
Yeah, I think it was really cool. Dark rides are just so much fun to do in this game because of how much you can do with them.
Yeah. I think I've yet to really do a dark ride just because it's a pretty daunting task from all the people that I see that make these really good ones. And so part of me has been kind of nervous to like, you know, take that much time to do it, if you know what I'm saying. Um, and we have a little junior coaster here. So once again, another nice haunted house and like perfectly lit up in here because it's, oh, that's kind of creepy. It's still dark and kind of eerie, but it's just enough. So.
Yeah, I think junior coasters are definitely an essential part of any park because without them, it's like straight away you're going on these white knuckle thrill rides. There's nothing really for younger guests.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely. I don't know if you noticed there in the station having the coffins on the side of the queue, not the side of the queue, but the side of the station. I thought that was just pretty cool to kind of add that extra little bit of detail to, kind of tie it into the area. And man, that roof
Yeah.
looks awesome right there.
Oh yeah, it's just if you like using the right combination of a wall and a roof can be so amazing in this game.
Mm-hmm. And this is literally all I've played for the last year. Funny, I've still got like 3 or 4 games like Assassin's Creed and some of these that I need to play, but I just can't stop playing Planet Coaster. And it's like, just watching all these other creators do stuff. It's like you keep learning new things, learning new pieces to use. Definitely I'm going to get some inspiration from here when I kind of do a spooky section or a spooky type ride.
Yeah, and the lighting here is reminding me of the park I did the video on literally 2 days ago with Iron Matu. Just there was a spooky coaster lit up in such a beautiful way, and it's like that purple, red, and this orange lighting. This is just reminding me of that.
Mm-hmm. I can see that for sure. I know the park you're talking about. I love the fencing there, which we're kind of leaving that section, but it's just using those like I should forget the name of those pieces, but it's almost like those prison bars, but it's not the prison bars. I think it starts with a P. But using those as kind of like the fence with just some I think it was like a trim beneath it, but it looked really cool. And then now we're coming to an adventure section. Like how cool does that little
That is
I
an
don't know what,
awesome flat ride skin.
yeah, so look at that. I mean, first of all, would you ever ride that flat ride?
I don't know. I mean, you see, it's probably not the most intense one, but still a pretty interesting concept. I think there
Yeah.
was something similar down at Alton Towers in the UK for a couple of years.
Yeah. Is Alton Towers would be considered your home park?
No,
Um,
definitely not.
is you're from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny. I just feel like being an American, I feel like the two parks you hear about in the UK, I don't know if there are anymore, are Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, right? Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I have been to both of them. Thorpe Park is more. It's like the whole thing's on an island, so it's all really crammed together. Versus Alton Towers, which is much more spread out.
right. Yeah, they both seem to have cool concepts. Pretty interesting then how they're gonna fit a hyper coaster on that crowded island, as you said, huh? For Thorpe Park.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like 30 years since we had like the height record broken in the UK, so
Oh
it's a
wow.
pretty big deal.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as we kind of see this adventure section, we're kind of looking at some of the stats. G-force is definitely a little bit high on the vertical. Um, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this area as we kind of go up the lift hill?
I think the mixture of the trees that's been used around here is really nice. It just really works with the whole theme.
I agree. I think sometimes when it's like you're the one placing a lot of the trees, it can kind of you feel like it kind of gets repetitive, or it's a matter of just trying to make it look realistic, right?
Yeah.
Using different types, different elevations of them. But it really does feel like a jungle.
Yeah, and it's like when I'm usually placing trees, I will be theming up an area and then kind of take one tree type and maybe cover half the area with it, and then go back later and do it with more parts of the area, and then switch between tree types. So I don't
Hmm.
really get bored of placing thousands of trees.
That's a good point. Makes sense. Um, and I almost feel like when you have an area that's so well done with foliage that you don't necessarily notice a ton of it, that's how you know it's done really well too, right? I hope that makes sense
Yeah,
because it's not like standing out to where you notice it's being repetitive or anything. It just feels natural. And that's what this area kind of feels like to me.
yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that coaster?
I really loved it. It was really aggressive. It was flying through some of those inversions.
Yeah.
I think maybe the first one could have been a little bigger because it went round that so fast.
Yeah. I agree. I think there was one of them too that kind of had probably a more unrealistic kind of exit of the inversion. But I mean, hey, I guess it's an SLC, not an SLC. Sorry. I'm not forgetting the name of that now. Whatever those inverted coasters are called, they're pretty rough in real life. So maybe maybe it fits that mold.
Yeah, I think it was an SLC, but a custom layout.
Right. Yeah. For some reason, when I said SLC, I was thinking then of the SLV, like that older kind of Schwarzkopf type coaster. I was getting them confused for a second, but I like this little gift shop area. And I
Yeah,
think the go ahead.
that piece of like all the pictures you can buy. I always thought that was TMTK because I only ever saw it in no Chacho's parts. But I was like,
Hmm.
hold on, that's a main game piece. I just wasn't
Yep.
expecting that.
Yeah, and it is really cool though to see like I don't feel like I'm creative enough in a lot of areas, but just to see what console players, the people who are really creative are making to kind of not be able to use TMTK, right? And so I know that a lot of that stuff on that interior came from Tommy P or Tommy Leeds, as people on the PlayStation might know him as, but because he does a lot of those kind of interior and like midway game stuff. But yeah, when I was filming this and doing a walkthrough, I almost didn't even recognize that this was like even something I was supposed to go through. So this is technically a queue line. Um,
Oh
Pretty
wow.
intense queue line, huh?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it goes to a flat ride, but I thought it was pretty cool how this creator just kind of decided to, really kind of make it an experience and almost make it feel like a zombie apocalypse. Well, I guess it
Yeah.
technically is a zombie apocalypse.
You mentioned Thorpe Park. I know they have the Walking Dead the ride, and I think like a few years ago for the Halloween event, they put live actors at the exit.
Hmm.
So as you came off the roller coaster, you'd go down the exit, and then there'd be these live actors just kind of in there.
Wow, that's cool. Speaking of cool, this lighting's really well done right here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. That'd be cool though to come off the ride and see live actors acting like zombies and stuff. Pretty creepy, to say the least, but that'd be
yeah,
pretty cool. I feel like that flat ride is one that's kind of hard to use just because it does light up like that. So it doesn't necessarily fit in every spot. Like you can't just put it in any area of the park.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of like the more fairground style rides that are in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Now the next area we're gonna go look at is called Star Wars Rogue One, and it's actually like a Top Thrill Dragster type coaster. But
Oh,
just yeah, I want to get your thoughts on kind of the queue area because I absolutely love it.
yeah,
Just the detail, and it just really does feel like you're in a part of Star Wars.
yeah.
Um,
I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so
okay, yeah, me too. Um, Bummed
just
they're
seen that.
all done, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that I can't remember what it's called. It's like that kind of like giant mech robot thing at the entrance. It's like that looks so good.
Oh yeah, it looks good. That was something that's off the workshop. I can't remember who created it, but how about the lighting in this area?
I'm
Like,
loving it. That whole like skylit background is just giving me Rise to the Resistance vibes.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you come into this room. Like, I love the blue lights in the other room. That might be my favorite. But then it's like you got this little pit. um, like this really does look so much like Star Wars. I think he really just nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, I love the X-wing. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's like there's so many places to look, and I love how you just got the, like you said, the starlit kind of panels that just kind of really make it feel like that kind of outer space feel.
Yeah. Oh, this is a
Changing
really
the
nice
lights blue.
station.
Sorry, what'd you say?
It's a really nice station.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really well done ride. I mean, it's really straightforward. Just top thrill layout. Just all the rating and as we kind of look at the stats there. So it's 476 feet. That'd be the tallest in the world. The lighting
Yeah, it
here is
would
just
be.
amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
The light speed effects.
You know what? I just didn't even think that was supposed to resemble Lightspeed. There we go. I should have picked up on that.
Oh, that is totally a nighttime ride.
Hmm. Definitely. Um, so I mean, you've ridden Stealth at Thorpe Park, right?
Not yet. I
Okay.
need to go back this year.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like this. It's just on a smaller scale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. The lighting on this is really well done. Um I kind of wish
Gosh,
there
I
was a
would.
different area to put kind of that floodlight, but there's really you can't put it
Yeah.
anywhere else to get that lighting effect.
Yeah. I would love to get a rollback on this. That would be so much fun.
Oh no, it's I've seen videos of like Top Thrill rollback and it just looks incredible. I mean, but it'd probably be pretty scary when it happens. Um
Yeah.
yeah. Gosh, that's such a cool effect with the lights like that.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, as we kind of move to the next area, what's kind of standing out to you so far?
Just like the attention to detail. It's like using the larger pieces, but they're more detailed. So when you look at them, it doesn't look like that's maybe like one or two pieces. It looks more like maybe 10 or 20.
Right. I agree with that. I think it's yeah, like you said, the attention to detail is he's been really mindful of that when creating this here. And now one thing I think you'll probably agree with me on this here, I would have used different pieces there for the kind of the wall, just so that you
Yeah.
don't see the terrain.
Yeah, definitely.
I always love seeing like a boardwalk style area. Now we have an Indiana Jones area with more adventure pieces. What's your favorite what's your favorite like DLC pack in this game to use?
In terms of the pieces I actively use from the DLC packs, Gosh, you really put me on the spot. Um,
Yeah, sorry about that. I realized after I asked that question that that really wasn't a good question to ask because it's like, well,
gotta
you
try and think
like,
of
are
all
you
the
looking at it for
DLC
like,
packs.
yeah. Sorry, what'd you say?
I'm trying to remember all the DLC packs now.
Yeah. Well, it's like, like I think I love the Studios pack the most just because I like the realism with it. Haunted pack has like the wooden beams, the haunted beams and stuff are so great. Adventure pack
Yeah,
is pretty good for theming too.
yeah. I think if I had to say my favorite, it's either the Studios or the World's Fair pack.
Okay.
The World's Fair pack just gives you like 10 different building types, which makes it so much easier to create something like a street which looks different wherever you look.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I think that Ghostbusters has some surprisingly good building pieces too. Pricier, but it's definitely got some good building pieces. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this coaster in this area?
I really like that. It's like in that building with like all the spikes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And also
Yes.
I love how it's like a separate track heading off there. I think that's a really cool touch.
Yeah, to kind of add that transfer track. Yeah, I think it needed a little bit of smoothing on. I think there's one part, but I agree with you. You kind of adding the detail of having those kind of spikes, and which honestly, I click on this because I didn't even know that that was a piece in the game. So I'm like, oh man, it just looks like it's a gasoline can, and I didn't even know we had that. um, so it works back there. But I just love the kind of the detail too of the exit. Um, Comes
Yeah.
out into a gift shop and goes past bathrooms, and then this little area was really nice and kind
Yeah.
of
I love the
secluded.
hashtag rock work.
What?
Hashtag rock work.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah,
essential.
yeah. It's really, really well done. I think like the Star Wars is just so well done. In terms of like maybe just like the best use of pieces, I think this might be my favorite area from that standpoint. Um,
Yeah. Just going back to your DLC question, I completely forgot about like the three IP packs. What is it? It's like the Monsters, Back to the Future, and
hmm
I think it's Knight Rider. But they
Yep.
have some really nice small pieces for realism in there.
Okay. Yeah, we
Uh,
sadly aren't getting those on console. I don't think so.
oh, that's a shame. I think I know there's some pieces in there that I see used in so many parks.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe at some point, but I kind of feel like we probably won't get them. But now this is another night area that's just really well lit up. You can kind of see this castle, and um,
Oh
once
yeah,
again
that's
another.
just so nice.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's really majestic. Like that's one thing about a lot of the buildings in this, or like a lot of the themed kind of buildings and areas, that they just kind of have this real majestic feel to them. Once again, a
Yeah,
massively long queue. so,
yeah.
so I don't know
I
if I
think
don't know if you know. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I think for like the castle just on the exterior, I didn't really see that much detail on the outside of it, and I saw just from earlier how there was still like 1% left. So maybe just a few details on the exterior of the castle would have kind of just finished it off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree with you. There's not too much detail on the outside. But one thing I don't know if you know this about with console and stuff is the paths are like the biggest drain on the percentage count, even more so than coasters. So using paths that aren't on a grid, like it's just crazy. Like for example, if you use a grid, you can get about 3 times as many path pieces on a grid as you can not on a grid. Um, and if you go from a 4 meter path to 10 meter path, it also like triples as well. So it's just kind of when you have
Oh
queues that are
wow,
that long, that really kind of drains the counter. Um,
yeah.
obviously has a really good effect of the theming and making you kind of feel immersed. And now Jurassic Park area.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Yeah. There's been a couple people on console who've made like not necessarily full parks, but like half a park kind of themed around it. And this is a really cool kind of raptor cage
Yeah.
type recreation. At least that's what I'm assuming this is supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it's like ride skins. This one's just
Mhm.
so awesome to look at.
Yeah, agreed. Once again, I like this little kind of boardwalk area for that little food shop. A
Yeah.
nice use of using wall pieces, wall pieces as kind of barriers and fences. That's just the exit to that ride. And the station on this coaster and kind of those extra supports just look awesome.
Yeah. I really like that station. It looks so awesome.
Really, really cool. What's your favorite coaster type to make in this game?
I always gravitate towards the RMC hybrid because
Hmm.
they're like it's mostly just go really tall, give it a really steep drop, and just make it feel out of control. And I feel like I really enjoy doing coasters like that.
Agreed. I think their RMC and wooden coasters are at least in my opinion, some of the easiest to smooth out as well. Um,
Yeah,
so that's good. The wing coasters are tough. I've yet to really build a wing coaster that I've put in a park yet, just because I feel like they're tough to really get the elements
yeah,
right and get smooth and everything.
yeah. I mean, wing coasters, you have to make sure, especially when you're detailing it as well, that both sides don't have any collision areas.
So one thing I noticed from off ride with this coaster is just how cool these custom supports look. Although I wish they would be connected, but it still kind of gives that really cool extra look to the coaster.
Yeah, I agree. I think custom supports are definitely something really definitely to consider when you're doing a coaster because the in-game ones aren't always the best.
You're not lying right there. Especially when they give 50,000 supports for one little spot. But yeah, it's crazy the amount of
Yeah.
support sometimes the in-game coasters have.
I'm not sure if you can do it on console, but I know on PC if I'm like, oh, I really hate the amount of supports here, but it would be too much to do custom supporting. I kind of just select a track piece and just say, remove the supports, and then if I need to like edit lengths or something, I can just delete it and select some parts to have a support and some parts not, and then it just reduces the amount of supports back to something a bit more realistic.
Yeah, we can do that. We can select track pieces just like that. So I've started doing that a lot as well. I do think that coaster needed a little bit of smoothing. Um, I think the kind of layout and design of it was really, really good. What were your thoughts on
Yeah.
that T-Rex coaster?
All I was thinking about was just like, wow, these basic shaped dinosaurs are seriously amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, what was your now as we kind of take a overhead view look at nighttime? Out of the five kind of main areas that we looked at, which one was your favorite and really stood out to you?
Oh, I think my favourite area was probably. I'm actually going to say the entrance area because I really love just the different buildings that there were and also how it was designed and everything. I really liked the entrance of that.
Yeah, that's awesome because I kind of agree with that. Like the entrance is really nice. I think the main entrance building is awesome. I took some inspiration for that for my current park. Still gotta go. Like I just think the Star Wars is just awesome. Like that queue line, the lighting, really making it feel like you're in outer space was just such a good job and so well done. All right, so let's wrap up this video. And Dan, do you have any final thoughts?
Um, just thinking like, wow, that's really cool park. I loving all the detail and also the off-grid work with the buildings. I think that was just all really awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. As we're kind of flying back by the entrance area here. And I want to remind everybody to make sure to go click on Dan's channel and subscribe because he does a lot of great stuff on PC. I definitely need to be checking out more of your stuff as well. But you know, such a good job. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And thank you for joining me, Dan.
That was a pleasure.